Let's talk our talk. Africa boys in diaspora. Chinedwani TV. Voice of the voiceless, yo. Chinedwani TV. Make we talk our talk, yo. Chinedwani TV. Nobody can talk our talk for us, yo. Chinedwani TV. Africa's a rise. Time don't reach, yo. Make we talk our talk, oh yeah, everybody join the Chinedwani TV. Not that it happen, no. Not that it selenge. We don't talk our mind, yo. As it be now, so we don't talk more. Mama, papa, brother, sister, even know the YouTube. Subscribe and follow Chinedwani TV. Eba fukona potuno, eba fukona man. I will be the voice of Africa in diaspora. Chinedwani TV. Voice of Africa, where they show. Chinedwani TV. Now where we go there. Chinedwani TV. Gather your family, call everybody. Oh. Chinedwani TV. Prison what the world.
Yes, so my people, my name is Chinedwani. You know now, Chinedwani, your one and only celebrity CSO and the African voice. And your African voice. And you're hearing me from Atlanta, United States of America. Just 5 minutes away from the busiest international airport in the world, in Atlanta. And today we have, you know now, our usual new and bubbling and bustling and powerful program called Afrobeat Hangout with Chinedwani. Afrobeat Hangout, our Afrobeat, our pride. You know, so I greet some Afrobeat giants, especially those in Nigeria like Davido, my man, Baruda. I greet you. Like Burna Boy, like Wizzy, Wizkid, like Rema, like all of them. I greet all of you most fundamentally, and I welcome every lover of Afrobeat, wherever you are, in Australia, in America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. I don't know where you are in Africa, in Kenya, in Ghana, in Sudan, in South Africa, in Madagascar. Wherever you are in Africa, you are welcome. This is the place we celebrate our culture. And today, we decided to look for somebody who has passed through this experience, somebody who knows everything about the Grammy, everything about Afrobeat, somebody who can speak French, somebody who has been in the singing and entertainment industry for a long time, academically sound, you know, Grammy, sagacious, and experienced. So today, we will be bringing to you our great sister, who I told you have won several awards. She will say about it when she comes up. And today we'll be featuring in this noble show, the future of African music is the topic, and the international awards. How does it work? How does it work? And today we'll be having Dr. Mercy Ngozi Alo on this Afrobeat Hangout by Chinedwani TV. Wow. So, let me have this privilege, my people, to call on this great sister of yours. So, you're welcome. So, you people, I present to you, most fundamentally, I present to you, those of you on Instagram, those of you on YouTube, those on Facebook, those on Twitch, those on TikTok, wherever you are watching from, I present to you Dr. Mercy Ngozi Alo. Doc, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. Good to see you. I'm doing fine.
Hello. So, this is the second time you're coming to this show. You started with us when we had like 10 followers, you know, and we reached out to you. Then you came to the show. You brought a lot of people from different parts of Africa, and you have been a great support. Now that we have grown, now that we have global tentacle, now that most important thing for us now in the entertainment industry is how can the African people concentrate on their own art? And how can the artistry, be projected to global acceptance? We decided to look for a professional like you once more, and that's why you are here again today. So you're welcome second time. You're welcome to your own place when we are bigger. So
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. So because we did not want to apologize, they said acceptance of a fault is a sign of good upbringing. For some technical issues, I was unable to come online on time. You were punctual, but for some logistic reasons, we could not do proper connectivity. But now it's resolved, and we're here. So I apologize to my great audience who have been waiting. Please accept. Your boy. I don't like come on time, but today just So you people should forgive me. And for the sake of our visitor, please forgive me. So now it's okay. You are here, and for protocol purposes, please can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, my name is Mercy Alu, and it's very great to be here. And so, depending on which part of the African continent you are from, I would say Ndeo. Do we say because we have so many dialects in Igbo? So, but I would definitely say bonjour. I would say hello. Nice to see everyone on here, and I am happy to be here with all of you. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, that's a great one, Mercy. And you can see from what's going on that Afrobeat and African music generally is a very important part of our existence. The artistry is an integral part of African growth. And you see, apart from football, I think it's music that unites the African young people in the whole continent. So I think it's a very important part of us. And that's why we decided to look for you so that we can talk about the future of African music as it relates to, you see what just happened the last time there was in the category of African music, there was an award from Grammy. Some Africans thought they shouldn't do it the way they did it. Some said they are right. But the most important thing is that the white people, the very white people or the non-Africans were the people giving judgment on African music. So all this is part of what I would want you to touch. But let's give it a general. So what is African music? What do you understand by Afrobeat? And how does it take part of our integral growth as Africa?
Well, again, Jeanette, thank you for having me. What I would say about Afrobeats and what it is that, well, African music, we know there are different styles, traditional music, music with drums. There's different types of music. I mean, some people come up like Ziggy style, is one by one of our own great artists. We have so many styles in Africa. But the term Afrobeats is something that was coined outside of Africa, so from the Western world. There was an interview some time ago when, Burna Boy was being asked a question. I think this was either UK or somewhere like that. What style of music do you sing? You are an Afrobeat singer, and of course, said, yeah, but the Afrobeat was not a general term like it is now. So we used to really notice all the different types of African music, which we still do. But Afrobeat seems to take an umbrella approach to what African music is. So we say Fela, for example, is the founder of Afrobeats, but then his style of music doesn't really sound like what we call Afrobeats now because it was more jazzy, you see, of jazz. So this is what I think Afrobeat is. I think Afrobeat is most of the beats, the musical beats from Africa today. If you're not clearly in a niche where you are doing piano or something that is well known, in its own category or genre, most likely you are an Afrobeat artist. And even if you're doing other styles of music, at the end of the day, it's the beats of the music of Africa.
I'm not hearing you now.
Okay, I hope that answers your
Go ahead.
question.
I can hear you now. Okay.
Yes, I think so. I think I'm done with the question. Basically, I've been able to summarize what I think Afrobeat is and how the term really came about and how it really covers most of the music out of Africa today. It's very much interconnected with other genres like Afro pop, Amapiano, and everything else. But most African artists today who are producing African beats, the styles of music that are not very, very clearly in their categories, whether we're talking about sukus or ndombolo or things that they are very clear that these are traditional types of African music or whatever else it is, whether gospel or so, are really classified in Afrobeats. So most of African music today, most modern hip African music today really tends to be classified as Afrobeats. So that is what I would say about what I think Afrobeat is.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Let's see, and that's good. So Amapino and Afrobeat and all that, they are different. But the central thing is that it has the rhythm of Africa. The central thing is every beat, every rhythm originates from diverse African traditional background. That's what makes it African music. So I understand what you're saying. So in those differences, what do you think is the unifying principle? Like if a South African produce meat and a Nigerian produce meat and a Ghanaian produce meat, what do you think is the reconciling part? How they can be said to be African, the original thing or common denominator you can see in this one, in this one. If a South African is singing, Nigerian is singing, a Ghanaian is singing, somebody even from the French is singing. What is the thing we can notice if we hear or if we listen to? We say this music is from Africa.
You know what I would say, really going back again to what I originally noted that Afrobeat is really a term that was coined outside of Africa. So it's more like, from the Western world. Because originally someone, like Burna Boy was not classifying his music as Afrobeats, but he had an interview and they told him, you do Afrobeats, and he said, yeah, it's because it became a popular term with which people who are non-African, from the continent. I mean, everyone comes from Africa, but I mean, Western countries and other cultures started identifying African music that way. And so, what I would say is that if it's a piano, if it is whoever creates the beat and however way they sing it, I would classify it Afrobeat based on what it cannot be classified as. And this is what I mean. When you hear Sukus music, you know it's Sukus. When you hear Ndombolo, you know it's Ndombolo. When you hear traditional African type of drums and stuff, you know that that's what it is. When you hear gospel, you know that that's what it is. So technically, there is also inspirational Afrobeats, which is under gospel. But I think the unifying factor is that African music that makes you dance, that makes you feel the vibe of Africa, not really in a cultural way, but in a modernized way. Because traditional African drumming, I don't think officially would be classified for beats, but they are all the beats of and rhythms of Africa. But what unifies Afrobeat are that Afrobeat is the contemporary pop, hip hop, urban culture of African music that has roots that go back in time to when Fela really popularized the kind of jazz, the kind of danceable, kind of funky rhythms of African music. So, to me, the unifying factor is that it is all African music. Now, someone who is not African, all these things I've said, whether it's sukus, whether it's amapiano, may not be able to differentiate. So, someone who is not from Africa that understands these types of music, all they're going to know is, oh, yeah, that's Afrobeats because it has a root in Africa. You know, these are the beats of the Africa. So, I think that's what I would say to that.
Wow, that's a great one. Afro music is rooted in Africa, and that is a machinery that carries our culture and sell it globally. So, okay, let me go direct to your person. You have been in music. In a summary, can you tell us your journey in the music industry as a person, as an individual, how you started, what you have been able to win, your pitfalls, your challenges, before I will bring you to analyze the international connect between the African music and the Grammy Award. Let's hear from you first.
Okay, yes, I think my background, my background in the music is quite typical of a lot of people who have a passion for music started when they were very young, which is say born with it. So I started singing in the village when I was even 2 years, 1 year. People run around and play, and it was a very kind of open atmosphere. And so when the elderly people or kids, other kids, and so forth, you know, playing and or people going to the market, then they ask me to sing for them. Or sometimes because I know someone would give me, something they brought from the market. Oh, Mama, can I sing for you? So yes, my native African name where I come from, it's kind of a way of praising someone and just honoring them a little bit, which they say people called Ogeri. They tend to be musical. So I don't know, but the full name is really Ogeri Bogonyaja. That's my native African name. And I've been told it's more of Lady of Song and Dance. I don't know. But again, it's been a natural. As far as the journey, I think it's personal for everybody because it depends on what you are trying to achieve in music, your circumstances. And most of us coming from Africa, we are not really encouraged to pursue music as a first option for a career. So most people, either you have to go to school, you have to get an education, or you learn a trade or something, because music is a type of field that there is no clear way to get from point A to point B. So a lot of people are so talented, but even just to get a song out is it's difficult. So anyway, for me, I really focused on school. I also, at some point, when I was in elementary school, I I was hosting the children's program on Imo Broadcasting Corporation in Owerri, in Imo State. And then I was asked to compose songs for various school events and stuff like that in secondary school. And then eventually I was hosted at Voice of America when I traveled to the US, and I did continue in music throughout the university. So I was called to perform here and there. While I was studying, I always really kept up the singing, but at that point I had not recorded anything. I had written so many songs, but I had not recorded. So when I graduated with my bachelor's degree for the first time, I thought, I think I'm going to go ahead and record an album, I really worked on it, and I didn't know anything about the music world and the music business and how it worked. So I really was kind of considered myself a recording artist, but at the same time, I had to balance that with the questions from my family, my parents. What are you going to do next? You're going to further your education. My father's a professor, so of course he had to struggle his way up in those days, lecturer one, lecturer two, and then you go on for PhD. But he had all seven of us children by the time he even went to get his PhD. So you see, education was a valuable, asset, I would say. So I kind of prioritized that, and so I missed out on a few opportunities, like Def Jam Records in the US had wanted me to do a tour, and I got a few other things as well. Someone told me, I finished that album and said, I saw your album out here in the store in California. But the first label that I ended up signing with, Elite Platinum Records in California, the owner passed away. And so we didn't push that continuously. Majek Fashek actually got in touch with me from California and said, I have your album. And it was about the time when I also met Lucky Dube. And Lucky Dube was a very great mentor and a very good guy. So I saw a lot of favor in when I started. Actually, my first recording, I had 14 songs on that album. And there's a lady too from Jamaica. Erica is her name. And she volunteered. I mean, she did my backgrounds in that album. A lot of the backgrounds, she did them. She's a lady who part of the Wailers. She sings with Ziggy Marley, Stephen Marley. She's always one of those three ladies who are with the Marleys. So she's been in music for a while, and I really highly appreciated, the fact that I got all this support and great feedback. But I still had to continue with my education, then balancing with family and other things. So eventually, I just started back recording. I think it was maybe a few years ago. And then I won a few awards, and other things just kept coming. So I believe it is a calling for me.
Yeah, thank you, Mercy, for your good, wonderful reaction. So I think you just told us about some of how you started your music and somewhere, but I know that you grew from that point. You went and had some awards, international award. From what I've heard about you, you were participating in different things. You were part of some group that organize awards. Tell us about those things that are very important. A lot of people are watching, and a lot of um, upcoming musicians are watching, and even grown ones are watching this thing. So, and at least with your experience and your position, some of them, all these are our challenges. Some can consult you, some can link up with you, because that is the reason why we have this show. This show is for Africans to talk their own talk. For us to what the CNN cannot show about us, we can show it here. So, and that's why I'm bringing you. I know what it took me to bring you here. So please tell us all those things. This is not a place of trying to be humble or anything. Tell us all those things you have done in the music industry, in the award industries, and let the audience hear you.
So, yes, thank you very much for that. I would say in the music industry, I really think the first boost I had about it was when the America's National Teenager Organization invited me to be a part of. Actually, they gave me a scholarship then, which I hardly used because I got maybe sorority scholarship, salute scholarship, all those kinds of stuff. I was getting a lot of attention, and I think Martin Luther King scholarship. All of those were based on maybe a song that I did or something like that. Sometimes an essay too, because I am also a writer. So of course, if you write your music and you write, you are a writer, whether it's a songwriting or anything else. However, so with the American National Teenager Organization, they gave me a lot of awards. One of it was for Miss Congeniality, teen congeniality in Illinois, and other things like that. So I found that encouraging, and I think that is part of one of the reasons I was able to hold on to the talent that I had and continue through college. Then I was invited by the Voice of America. Voice of America out of Washington, D.C., run a program called, I think it something about I think it was a show about Africa, about African music. So they would host African artists and broadcast in 23 countries worldwide. And it wasn't like now when we can just do this live stream. It's a couple of years ago. I was very young, but it was you had to come to the studio. So I had to, they flew me to Washington D.C. and it was very exciting to share my music live. And then it was exciting to hear it on the radio, hear it, in Atlanta and so forth. Even though I didn't live in Atlanta, I knew people who told me that there were some stations. And then I had one of my professors out in Darfur, Sudan, helping with a nonprofit said, guess what? I heard your name on the radio and I heard a song. So I think these are the things that really encouraged me in the music. And this is from that same first album. And that's all I recorded for quite a few years. So when I went back to record, and I believe it was I think in 2019, then I wouldn't say that I pursued the awards, but somehow I got invited by the Hollywood and African Professional Awards. They nominated me in three categories. They nominated Wizkid, Burna Boy, Yemi Alade, so many artists from different countries, Diamond Platinum, and artists I'd never heard about, just from different, Eddie Kenzo from Uganda. There's just a lot of artists who were nominated. But then I thought, how in the world how did I get this, so I think sometimes awards will look for you. So you have a song that gets in a few hands and people listen and they like it. I didn't do promotion, but I got over 1 million views, one of my songs, and other songs a lot of decent views. I mean, I've had a lot of views without promotion, so it tells me that there is a good reception, you see, for my music. So, but I was always kind of busy with balancing. I wasn't yet fully going into music the way that I should have. But at that point, I made up my mind that, I was going to just go for it. But the Harper Awards did give me a win in one of the categories, which at the time was the best up and coming female artist, out of Africa. And they had other categories as well. And so then there is a award. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. I'm listening to you.
Okay, so and then there was also an award called the Peace Song Awards. So that is the one that had presented a particular statue that was it was endorsed by the United Nations and things like that. But it depends on the content of the music. But this was a voting award, and so I had so many people vote for me, and I ended up winning, that particular award, which is actually quite recognized in different circles. And then the Intercontinental Music Awards also, of course, recognized me as well, and there are other awards. But the thing is that I, I, I began to, I want to say the people who were endorsing me from Recording Academy and so forth, and then I got involved, and then I started hosting a Grammy group because I found myself on the ballot, for the first time. And because you can't just go on the Grammy ballot by wanting to be on. on it. You have to be a member of the Recording Academy or have, um, you know, your record label, submit you and things, or, a member of the Recording Academy submit you. And so from doing that, I started doing collaborations with Grammy nominees and Grammy winning artists. And I had collaboration album released by Bongo Boy Records, and also, one of the artists who is on Universal Records was part of a project that we worked on. And then I started hosting, a Grammy group, and I have a lot of people who apply for the Grammy Awards who had joined that group, and just kind of working with artists in different aspects. So then I was appointed ambassador for different awards, and basically, I think this is one of the things that I'm really happy about, in my journey. So I don't want to talk about the ambassador roles that I have yet because you haven't asked me the question, but I'm just, really talking about the awards. Although one of the ambassador roles I have for Dream Child Foundation, which is endorsed by President Mahama of Ghana, actually hosts one of the biggest, music festivals so far in Independence Square, called the Hood Talk Music Festival. And so that is really focused on helping upcoming artists and artists who are already established to have more visibility, and also to promote education and healthcare in Africa. And that was actually given to me as an appointment, basically as an award. So I received an award for that. So I think I'll stop here with the awards for now.
Okay, that's great. So it's good that people listen to. It's good that people listen to all this, and at least they will know that the person who invited we did not just go and carry somebody from nowhere. So it's a great thing. So let's come to the reason why I chose to invite you this period. This was just the award, the Grammy Award was just concluded. So, and I want to ask you, do you think that the Grammy Award is necessary for Africans?
I really like this question. And the reason I like the question is that because Africans, and I'm going to say specifically Nigerians, really pioneered winning Grammy Awards in Africa and have been very consistent in getting nominations or getting recognized in some way because of the explosion of Afrobeats on the international scene. So a lot of people think that getting a Grammy Award is what endorses or validates an artist. And that is not actually true. So let me just explain why I'm saying this. You see, the Grammy Awards started in 1959. I think it was on May 4th. So the first Grammy Awards was held to recognize artists from the year, from the previous year. So, and at that time, it wasn't yet as globally inclusive. We all know that a lot of the African categories are very recent, where we are getting African performance category and all of these things. So there are so many amazing artists who pioneered African music. Like when I talk about, there's a bit of an echo, but when we talk about artists from the past, like Miriam Makeba, of course, Femi Kuti. Oh, Fela Kuti, excuse me, Femi Kuti. I'm talking about Fela Kuti. That's the founder of Afrobeats. But we know, we just witnessed this weekend that, this past weekend, that he got inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. 30 plus years after he had passed away. So my question would be that not getting inducted, did that stop him from being famous, from being well known, from being who we know that he is before then he got inducted? So the thing is this, there are so many amazing artists, both African, American, from different countries, who have never won a Grammy Award. You see, I think there's something called, it was a polygram awards or something like that. I forget what exactly the name is. But there's an award for how many sales you get in music, how many records you sell. There's an award for that. People think the Grammy Awards make an artist. The Grammy Awards are wonderful. They are prestigious. They are peers. So people who are artists, okay, so then as artists, you have people who are accepted into the Recording Academy. Then they are the ones that vote for which one of these records or artists should win a Grammy Award. So it is a recognition. And then you get a gramophone, a statue of a gramophone. So the Grammy Awards are very prestigious, okay? They are, I would say, an endorsement or a validation. But the question is the validation necessary? What is necessary is that you are loved, your music is accepted, you have passion for your music, you have a vision for your music, and you're actually doing music and enjoying it, because trust me, the music industry is tough. Music is tough to do. If you don't like it, if you don't enjoy it, if you're in it just to get some money, you're not going to be okay in it. You're not going to last in it. You have to have a passion. You have to want to do that. um, the Grammy Awards are not necessary for an African artist. The Grammy Awards is a good standard to have something to aim for. Like, you always want to push yourself to see how much global record, how much endorsement. I mean, how many endorsements you can get. It's a wonderful goal, but it doesn't give you money. It doesn't give an artist money. It gives an artist something to put on their resume or CV as an artist and endorse their brand a little further. But it is now up to the artist to go out there with that endorsement and sell themselves and say, hey, you know what? I'm a Grammy award winning artist. You see, so, in order to be able to sell yourself, you still need an audience. You need to be loved. You need your music to be really recognized by the people that you're going to present the music to. And so, this is why I say that when an artist is doing well, bringing out music, maybe they have a beautiful voice that heals, or you know carries the spirit of African music as an African artist, or they just have something unique about their brand. Um, it is more important. It is more important that the artist is recognized on a wide scale, or is really good at what they do, and is really good at what they do, than just getting a Grammy Award. You get a Grammy Award, you hang it on your wall. It's a gramophone, so you can't hang it, but you can put it somewhere on your desk or wherever. Uh, that is not going to sell your music. That's not going to sell your records. You see, and again, the process of getting a Grammy Award, we say, you vote for people. There's a lot of people out there that you have to have record label behind you. Maybe there's a lot of things that need to move, but it is difficult to get a Grammy Award. It's not an easy task. So I would say congratulations to people who do get a Grammy Award. But if you get a Grammy nomination, congratulations to you also. It is not easy to do that. If you have your music accepted in the ballot to be heard during the Grammy season, I'm still going to say congratulations to you also, because not all music is accepted. But it is not the standard for being a great artist. That is not the standard. You can be a great artist without being a Grammy winner.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think this your position is the position of a lot of Africans this time because the reaction after the last Grammy Award, we're out there, so we're listening to people from their diverse opinions and what they feel like. So this your stand is the stand of very patriotic Africans because validation does not come from the Grammy. Instead, the good music and the good artistry coming from Africa is what promotes the Grammy Award. It promotes the Grammy Award. And it's not the Grammy Award that validates who is a great musician. Just like you gave the example of Fela. Fela was not recognized or given a Grammy until, after he has passed for so long, and today he's in the Hall of Fame of Grammy Award. So, and it didn't stop Fela from doing what Fela is supposed to be doing or achieving, or it didn't stop us from knowing who he is and what Fela has been able to do. Yeah, that's good. So naturally, when musicians like you come up, like yesterday, Two Face was in this Mike podcast, and I was asked question. When musicians like you come up like this, we have always utilized the rare privilege to ask you, like, just from you, like if they come to Nigeria and say Afrobeat, they say Burna Boy, they say Whiskey, they say Davido, they say Rema, and the others. So, as far as you're concerned in the global exposition and your own understanding of what the artistry is, how can you grade them?
Okay, so you said, how can I grade them?
Yeah, yes, like in the order of this person is greatest, this one is good, this one is like when they asked Two Face, he said Burna Boy is bigger and others. He mentioned a lot of people. And today you're before me also. I want to use the opportunity and ask.
Oh my goodness, thank you for asking the question. Even though I'm going to give you my answer, it may not be, very typical. The thing is this, that I love the, I want to say, Gen Z, vibe of music and all of this. But I really like a kind of classical approach to music. There is music that you always want to go back and listen to it anyway. Like, it doesn't just kind of come out like, hey, this is the fad today. This is what is reigning now. And then you just give it maybe a year or two. That one is old. We don't remember that one anymore. I don't know. For whatever reason, the Nigerian music industry tends to do that, like, more than other industries I've seen. For example, in working with South African artists, I can tell you that the upcoming ones tend to respect the ones that have been there. And even when those ones aren't there, they kind of have this memorial stuff, like they incorporate in their things. In Nigeria, if you're gonna say, is this which artist is bigger? I'm going to tell you something. For me, I think it depends on their uniqueness and who they resonate with, because every artist is not sent to everybody. There's a message that an artist carries. A true artist is always, it goes even with the prophetic, because you can listen to a song an artist did way before and say, oh, they predicted this or that, or they talked about this or that in it, because music is a universal language, and artists, they carry a call like a true artist. It's from the soul. So if you are coming in for money, or you want to just vibe at that moment, I think you are more like a pop artist. I don't know how I can classify who is bigger. If we're going to talk about who made more money, that can change at any time, whatever we want to talk about. But I can tell you who resonates with me. Um, if you're talking about all these artists, yeah, I think Wizkid is smart. He's got some pretty good beats. Like, he's got some songs that you wanna you wanna get up and dance. For me, Burna Boy has a kind of, I want to say, kind of almost like a rap, Afrobeat rap, what do you call the Fuji vibe. I don't know how to explain the way his music comes across, but it tends to feel like, yes, he talks about some meaningful things, but you gotta be someone for that crowd. Like for me, I'm not as much in that crowd, if I can put it that way. Some of his songs I like the lyrics, you see, but Wizkid I like some of that his beats and stuff like that. Um, you didn't mention the video. Can I mention the
I
video?
did, I did. I mentioned the video.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I think with the video, I like the video more than all the rest. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. um, I know that we have a lot of artists, like when P Square was together, when they collaborated with one of the Congolese artists, I think Awilo Logomba, and all of that. And we have other artists who have collaborated outside. But I think Davido doesn't just collaborate. There is something about Davido where he he blends with the collaboration. So when you listen to it, there is an originality to that collaboration. Not like someone who is not from that culture that is struggling to sort of blend the two in that song and make it. But you can see the fun in what he's doing. He has a personality. Because let me tell you something. There are some artists that come from generations way before us, at least way before me too. You see, and many of us know maybe from when we were very small, or maybe now we are hearing the music and we love it. So someone like Yvonne Chaka Chaka, she's a South African artist, and she's a legendary artist. So she's one of the artists whose songs were very popular, maybe like in the 80s and 90s or something like that. But they are still classic and really nice today, and she's well respected. But the thing about what I see about her when I study that, because you can be with the music of the day, but you kind of have to study history a little bit. Like in every field, you have to know where you're coming from so that you can understand where you are and where it's going. We're talking about Fela today. Fela lived like, I want to say long time ago, because now it sounds like long time ago. A lot of people didn't meet like Fela or really interact with the times when he was very popular. But there is a trend, a legacy that he set. So, when you have a personality and you resonate with people, you are an artist. Like there is something about your brand. And I feel that Davido feels very authentic to me. And I like the way in which he connects with different audiences from different backgrounds. You see, whether you are from this ethnic group or that ethnic group or this country or that country, he has a way of doing connected. One of his favorite songs that I like is actually the one like I can this song I kept singing with the song he had with Kofi Olomide. I don't know
Okay.
if you have heard that song. Yeah.
Mm.
So for me, you haven't heard the song he had. It's a this is a Congolese artist, one of the big Congolese artists, and he did a collaboration. I don't know. Chole jae, I just want to tell you, alembe, lembe, alembe, something like that with Kofi Olomide.
Okay.
So I like that song. So to me, it's Davido, just because I like the way he does music. And let me tell you something. If you study some of the artists out there who are still relevant today, though they started years ago, whether Awilo Longomba or whoever, the more versatile, the more ability they have to connect across wider audiences, you know, Awilo Logomba has done so many collaborations with Nigerian artists than most other Congolese. Many people don't know other Congolese artists. They will know Awilo. You go to any country, you hear Awilo. So when I look at artists who have been able to sustain their clout, that is one thing I notice in it, and I think the video has that.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Just on that flight, how do you feel, or how did you feel about the last Grammy Award when it comes to That's of the that of the African performance. What do you call it? African performance section. So, how did you feel about the result?
Yeah, the African performance category, it's never clear cut. There was I mean, there's a lot of good music. When the FYCs were going around, that means for your consideration and people sending around, listen to this. If you can listen, you have someone who is a Recording Academy member you can recommend it to, or, you can at least give them some feedback so that they know what it's like and how you hear it being an audience, and then you can forward to someone. But there was a lot of good music. I mean, Wouter Kellerman, who is a South African flute professional player, I think it's a flute. He has won a lot of Grammy awards. So he did a collaboration with this guy Matt B, who won an Intercontinental Music Awards. And by the way, many people who win an Intercontinental Music Awards actually go on to win a Grammy or Grammy nomination for whatever reason. A lot of the people who are, well, the people who own the Intercontinental Music Awards, most of them are Recording Academy members, you see, and music executives and people who have worked with some of the big organizations like Sony, Warner Brothers, and who have worked with some of the big stars like Celine Dion, Selena Gomez, and all of this. So there are a lot of Grammy winners in the Intercontinental Music Awards family. So there's a lot of things that we see firsthand about some of all of this. But what I would say is that the African performance category, I don't think a lot of African people on the continent that we really understand how these things work. We think it's all about talent. Like this artist is better than this one because this one has won a Grammy and the other one has not won a Grammy. And that is not what it's all about. I mean, we want to vote for who we think is the deserving of the Grammy. But it depends on which aspects are being looked at. You see, some people say, with the Grammys, you you do have to be a bit popular. Let me put it like that too. I mean, you have to. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna vote for you if they don't know you? You see what I mean? So it automatically kind of goes with that, and then you have to have good PR. Maybe you've got a label backing you, or you can do sufficient PR. You may not really be that well known, but if you are able to begin to send your music around on time, everywhere, amongst the people who can vote within the Recording Academy, there are rules to all of that. But sharing your music, the more you share, the more people are going to get a chance to listen to it and actually vote for you in your category. So there are so many factors that affect who gets to win in what category. Some people maybe they don't start sharing their music early enough. So then we have just a month before the Grammys or before the that submission portal closes, because you have the first ballot and then you have people who are selected from it, and then they are going to the second ballot before you get the nominees. Then from the nominees you get the winners. So to me, the African performance section, I thought the song by Matt B and Uta Kellerman, also Rocky Dawuni. Rocky Dawuni has had, I think, 4 or 5 Grammy nominations. He's a Ghanaian artist, but three of them, they had a very lovely collaboration song. I thought this might be one of them. And then I was listening to some of the music from Nigeria. Of course, Davido has great music. Burna Boy has some great music. There were other artists who had really nice music. But the thing is that it is not really about this artist is better than that artist. There's a lot of factors that go into who gets selected for it. We just This is new to the African continent. The Grammy idea. I mean, no, it's not an idea, but the idea of winning a Grammy, the way that African people understand it, not everyone understands all these. intricacies of it. Some people go and buy a huge billboard in Times Square or somewhere in California with their name, their brand, their song and stuff like that. They are trying to advertise, hey, you know what? This is my song, vote for me. You see, it's not just, oh, this is a better artist than this one, so let's give this one a Grammy. You see what I mean? So that someone, the African performance category, you can't really say this one should have won or that one should have won because a lot of things, a lot of factors are involved.
Well, that's good. Yes, just like I think is this the CEO or I've forgotten the man's position who was explaining about the Grammy. He said that this Grammy is not just about your music was good and all that. There's the subjective view from voters. They have their own personal consideration for what they feel like or who they feel like they will win. So those of us outside there might be thinking it's because of music, it's because of the streaming, but it is just about decisions taken by members of the voting members of the Grammy. So we understand it. And that's why I solicit, just like you say, that a Grammy does not make an African artist. An African artist instead makes, what do you call, promotes the Grammy. The African artistry, the better you, like I know how many people that have known what Grammy is because of Burna Boy. I know how many people that they wouldn't have heard about Grammy if not for Whiskey. I know how many of us who got interested in Grammy just because of the video. So a lot of people, you see, Grammy gets promotion in Africa because of African artistry. It is not Grammy that validates what an African artist is. So I believe that most sincerely. So now, what is your advice to African artists and their relationship with the Grammy Award? How they should view it, how they should pursue it, and how eventually, even if they lose, how they should feel about it.
Oh my goodness. What I would say is what was happening before the Grammy got popularized this way in Africa? What were we doing? Were we kind of waiting to get a Grammy before we feel like we're actually artists, we're actually doing good? A Grammy Award, the Grammy Award popularity is recent, in recent times, because we started noticing that, hey, you know what? African artists can get a Grammy Award. It wasn't an African thing originally because the Grammy Awards didn't originate in Africa. It really was more indigenous to the United States. And then all these categories started getting added. First, we had the Latin awards and all of that because of the proximity of the Spanish speaking areas in South America to the United States and so forth. And then it started expanding in different areas. And now we've got Africa in there. And let me say something else. A lot of this has to do with money, okay, and commerce. If music from a particular place is making money because the artists are good, people are dancing to it, people are listening to it, it's gaining popularity here and there, that's when you're seeing that there's a category for it being added in the Grammys also. Because you see, um, this promotes the Grammy Awards as well and then endorses the artist as well. So this should not be the validation for being an artist in the first place. If you're not really selling a lot, you're doing really well in your work, um, or even if you're not selling as much, but at least you have good music and you have your audience and you have the potential to take it to promotion and begin to get more audience. If you don't have that, then we wouldn't even be talking about the Grammy Awards. So, what I would tell African artists is, own your stuff, be yourself, be authentic. There used to be, what was the awards in Africa? Now we have a Afrima, but there used to be another award in in Africa. I don't know why I forgot the name of those awards because they were very popular. They were very popular. The Cora Awards. So the Cora Awards were the standard in Africa, African music. And now we've got Afrima Awards. We've got Intercontinental Music Awards is gaining popularity too in Africa now because it's globally inclusive. Then we have the HAPA Awards. The HAPA Awards also is a big one among African artists, and actors and actresses because it's inclusive of the acting field as well. But your music career should not be based on the awards. It should be about your brand, connecting with your fans, your audience, most importantly, maintaining your passion about your work, making good music, knowing your vision for your music, and really being the best of your brand that you can be because it's all about the legacy that you leave. We've got a few artists who, like Whitney Houston and Fela Kuti, had were inducted into the Hall of Fame um, post mortem. So after they'd already passed away, then we say, "Wow, you got a Grammy award." What is it good for at this point? It is good for their legacy. It is good to for their honor and for remembering them and for encouraging the people coming after them. You see, so the Grammy Award is a technicality. It is a great endorsement, but it is a technicality. It should not be the basis for your work and for your standards and for your brand. So do your stuff, go out there, do your music, record songs, enjoy it. If you enjoy it, your fans will enjoy it because, it's just like when you're watching some dancers and one person has a squeezed face. There's all the traditional dance when you when you watch some of those things, you see some people dancing, but they look so miserable. It's hard to really enjoy it. But when you see someone like smiling and they look happy with what they do, you also feel pretty good about it. You see, like Burna Boy I may not be one of the Burna Boy people, like as far as the fans, but I like some of his songs, and I like the way that he is so confident and he stands and he has some kind of swag and clout to his stuff. And he owns it. And he stands in the middle of America and commands a huge crowd. That is awesome. And I think that just being that person that you are, that is already a brand. You don't need, you're not even going to walk into a stage and say, "Hey, I'm a Grammy winner." You see, it's part of your resume if you get a Grammy award. But who are you as an artist? I think that matters a lot because when the artist is gone and the artist was not that good, their music didn't resonate. They didn't really have a message. They didn't have a vision. They didn't have a brand. They could win 1,000 Grammy awards, and we would wake up every morning, go about our business, and we're not even thinking about them. But when their music was something, like today, some people, they still play Michael Jackson. They play other artists that they really like. They're not thinking about did they win a Grammy award? If they didn't win it, I'm not going to play them. You see, so I think that's what I'm going to tell African artists is just stay authentic.
Yes, thank you for this wonderful advice. And I think we heard it. So, what makes you is your music. It's not about what is in your resume. It's good to have a resume that is of international profile nature, but that's not the original. That's not your person. That's not who you are. Really, what makes who you are is the artistry and the talent showcased in your music, your styles, your reading that you can wake up every day to listen to. So God bless you for coming around. So let's go to now. With all this experience, with all this exposure in the music industry, how can you help Nigerians? How can you help young Africans?
Okay. So, yeah, I'll take the question. So basically, you're asking me, how can I help Africans, Nigerians through my experience. So let me clarify, this is what you asked. All right. I guess I have the stage now. I should kind of elaborate on that. Okay. So what I would say about that is that this is where the ambassadorships come in that I do. I don't do it because there is some kind of salary involved. It's like people think a United Nations ambassador, for example, is making money. They can give a token, but it is not a salary, and it's voluntary, basically. So being an ambassador, basically, you represent a brand, but you have to have a passion for it. There's something that you're trying to do to help society. So for Africans, for Nigerians, first, I'm going to talk about the Intercontinental Music Awards. So I've used the platform of being ambassador for Africa in the Intercontinental Music Awards to encourage artists, both established artists, upcoming artists. I've worked with artists from Congo, from South Africa, artists from Nigeria, and also reached out to artists from Gambia, from Zambia, from Rwanda, um, artists from different parts of the world. A few artists that I actually invited to go ahead and apply or submit their music. I mean, if you believe you have the talent and you've got some recorded music, sure, you get in touch with me. And if you have any further questions, but I can certainly share the website with you to submit your music. And quite a few artists have won from Africa, and you have people who are executives in the industry listening to your music on an international level. That in itself is already very encouraging. And when you have that, and you understand that your music is part of an international, award, you can be nominated. If you don't get nominated, you try again the next year. Just like the Grammys. I mean, people don't even get nominated. They try again the next time. Maybe they get nominated. They try again. Maybe they can win. So when you are able to be nominated or you win, especially if you win, then you have a little bit more visibility. You have, there is some promotion, there's mentorship, there are things that you can win. You get the beautiful award, of course, so many other incentives. So I think serving as ambassador, Africa ambassador, okay, Africa ambassador for the Intercontinental Music Awards, that is one way in which I'm giving back by encouraging and motivating and artists who in Africa who want to be on a globally recognized, and encouraging artists in their journey with music. And besides just the awards, I also mentor artists, and I also come in different areas, sometimes in consultation and so forth. The platform for the Dream Child Foundation and the Hood Talk Music Festival, which is mirrored after the Global Citizen, concert series. It's huge, huge global stage. You've got over 50,000 people covering 5 regions in Ghana, and also being held in South Africa, branching out to the US. So the Hood Talk Music Festival, is another platform that I'm talking to artists who can be vetted and maybe be in the lineup to perform, so that they can have, you know, huge stage presence that can help with their branding. You see, when they go out with promotional material and things like that, and they have video clips performing in front of huge crowds, those are all things that give some visibility as well. And also, when I talk to artists who are established, like I want to say thank you to Mama Princess of Africa, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, who I did reach out, but I reached out on social media, and she said that she uh, gives her full support to the Hood Talk Music Festival. So those are the kinds of things I think that encourage even upcoming artists. And I've also worked with artists who have been very popular. For example, Pure Gold is a South African group that was very active with Brenda Fassi. A lot of people know Brenda Fassi. She was a well-known, very good South African artist that is, has passed on, but she has a lot of music, huge catalog out there. And Pure Gold was popular in South Africa, as well as Platform One. Platform One has always been a well-known group, more popular in Zimbabwe and all of this. But for some reason, the Intercontinental Music Awards and my interactions with them, it really boosted their views, and it boosted their material, and suddenly they became like all over, super popular again, and they said, they started the Afro pop in South Africa. And so now people are looking for them, and I saw the difference. I really saw the difference in their material. I saw the difference in their numbers. You see, so I think that those are some of the ways in which I think I've done that. I think in general, we're all growing. You see, this is an industry that really builds on networking. That is what the industry builds on. You have to be able to network, but you have to be good at your stuff too. Anybody would want to say, "Oh, I want to be a star." It's not about that. You don't aim to be a star. You're just good at what you do. And the audience that you are built for, or that your material is designed for, they're going to resonate to you. And that's all it is really, is sharing your whatever your message is, and living your call, you see. So that's what I would say, to your question. I think I've done a lot of different things, both, just I don't want to mention all the different areas in which I've been supported, but let me just leave it at and say that yes, I am already doing that at this point.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And I think we have come a long way. We have spent just an hour and 11 minutes in the show, and I think it's very interesting. And what I want to tell you is you've been doing well, keep doing well, and we keep, you know, just know that this show is your show. Each time you want to communicate anything to the African community, especially, I have the Westerners following me, but this is an African outfit, and so I think it resonates more with the African people. So, but not with boundary to any other people that can utilize what we're doing. So every time you need this space, we are. But before you leave, and anyway, I can still have you because a lot of things we can ask you. If we keep asking you a lot, we'll not live here today. We don't want to go to the academic part. We just want to talk about music today. And maybe some other time talk about your academics, your personal experience, the type of music, like is it gospel, is it this, is that. So, but at least why I called you is that at this point that Africans don't know where to decide about their affiliation. Is it a Grammy that validates them, or are they the one promoting the Grammy? I wanted somebody experienced to come and clear the air, and that is exactly what you have come to do, and you did it so perfectly that myself and our audience, I think anybody who is not satisfied here need to see a doctor. So the issue is very simple, and we have understood your message, and that message is not just coming from you, but it has an undertone that can be referred to traditionally and historically. So thank you for showing up. But before you go, what can you tell our great audience and people who listen to you now, your followers, my followers, and the people who will encounter what we're discussing here, online or offline, about Chinedu Anichi TV, the African Voice?
Okay, so let me say something quickly. I'm going to do that right away, about Chinedu Anichi TV. But I want to say something just in case someone's curious. If you want to hear my stuff, my music, you can check my channel out at Mercy Alu Music. So
Can you
at
type
Mercy
it?
Alu Music. Well, yes, at Mercy Alu Music, that is
Can you type it
for
in the comments so that I
YouTube.
can flash it on the screen?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. So
Type
that
it
would
in the
be
comments so I
yes.
can
Okay, so
include it in there. I can
yes.
bring it to the screen.
Okay, so at Mercy Alu TV, I'm checking that. And that is for YouTube. Okay, so this is for YouTube, and
Not on
then
the
you can.
private chat, on the comments.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which you can tell.
Let me just go to the comments.
Mhm.
So okay, so um, if I can, all right. So let me just say. So you can check out. I don't know. I'm still getting the private chat. So for whatever reason, and it's distracting my attention. Um, okay, I've got the chat now. Let me see if I can put it in there. So it's just my first name, last name. If you want to go to my
Is it
Facebook,
in the West Pooper PR have viewers streamable.com?
what's that? Okay, no, that one is that is I think you're talking about Facebook. So Facebook is Mercy. If you go to just Mercy Alu, you'll find me. If you do Mercy Ngozi Alu, that is Facebook. I think that's the one you have. At Mercy Alu TV, that is YouTube. Mercy Alu on Twitter, Mercy Alu on TikTok, just Mercy Alu on Instagram. My Instagram handle is ngo.alu. That is my Instagram handle. And I just want to thank a few people. I want to give a shout out to Fela's nephew who I did a collaboration with, and I have one something else I'm going to be working with him on. One of my songs, I think I would like him to do something on it, and a few other people. Okay, Baba Kuboye, I have to mention his name, because he's
Abba
very
Boya.
yes, he's very good at giving me a shout out. So I want to return that favor. And I have quite a few other people. I think Ben Osafo is a wonderful producer, manager out of Chicago, UNITY Entertainment. And I mean, he has been absolutely amazing. Most of the things that I'm doing, that I've done even in Ghana and so forth, he's been, very instrumental. So I think I wanted to say all of that before I talk about, Chinedu Anichi TV. And if you want to Google me, just Google my name. You'll see some of my stuff so that you can have a listen. But I'm going to say this. It doesn't matter what I've said. If the platform that I'm on right now was not existent, you wouldn't be listening to what I'm saying on this platform right now. So, Chinedu Anichi is amazing. I think I like his energy. I love his vision and all what he's doing, linking diaspora in Africa, the entertainment area, politics, acting, you name it. But if there's something worth reporting on, you're concerning the African continent and the diaspora of it, you're gonna hear it on Chinedu Anichi TV. So I think I endorse your channel.
Wow, wow.
So
Thank
that's
you.
what yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, my people, you have seen what it is to refer to a brain, refer to experience, refer to sagacity. This your this this your
Oh,
video.
go ahead.
I don't know what's going on.
We're
Yeah.
almost at the tail end of.
So you have
Yeah.
seen what it is to refer to authority, refer to experience, refer to sagacity, and exposure. So we just refer to somebody who has been in this train and they have shared experience, and I know everybody's happy. Thank you for showing up. Remember, this is
Thank
Chinedu Anichi TV, African Voice. Every Sunday, 2 p.m., we have Afrobeat Hangouts. Afrobeat Hangout is where we bring our musicians, talk about music. So I started with her today. I started with her today in the program so that at least we know what is African music, know what is Afrobeat. before we start bringing in artists. But I'm very sure every Sunday we're going to see wonderful artists in this show. So
And I'm going to ask you something,
go ahead.
before we leave. So you owe me one though. Since you didn't play any of my music on this set, that means when you're doing some of the Afrobeat shows, you're going to play one of my songs, and so the audience can get to hear a little bit of it.
You remember what I told you? I told you we were going to talk about your music. Why I brought you here today is to talk about the African
The
music, yes, in general, and its relation. You see the topic with the international awards, and that is what you did. So I told you that we're going to bring you, talk about your person, your exposure, your education, and then your product in music. So
Well, you know what?
before you come to the show, we'll upload your music. You already
Yes, sir.
While you are talking, this place I am can be showing your TV. They are showing your video while you're talking. You can be the one analyzing it. So eventually we're going to do it, and it will not be far from now. But let people know you first, know who you are, know the experience you have, especially in the award kind of part of the music industry.
Don't mind me. You see, we've had a long interview, so now I'm being silly. I'm just bothering you a little bit. But I
Okay.
I love everything you said. You know, it's wonderful.
That's a sign that you already endorse us. Because if you are not happy with what we are doing, you won't even say that you come here to play. So I
Yes,
feel happy hearing that from
yes,
you.
yes. It's
So
been
my
a
people,
nice time.
see, Afrobeat Hangout is coming every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 8 p.m. Nigeria, 7 p.m. Ghana, and every other place, what. So don't miss it. Don't ever miss it. You're going to see these videos in short clips, short. It's not going to be marathon like this. You're going to see it according to speeches, and will be coming your way any month from now. So get ready to comment, to share, and make sure the whole world sees it. God bless you for coming. God bless you. We're so proud of you. Eventually, it was difficult starting there. We made it.
Let's talk our talk. Africa boys in diaspora. Chinebani TV. Voice of the voiceless, yo. Chinebani TV. Make we talk our talk, yo. Chinebani TV. Nobody can talk our talk.